G'day, Matt.
G'day, G Lane.
Hey, congratulations to you, man. Like, you are a true warrior. I mean, it is raining out there, and there's some wind, but you came to work.
It's amazing, the bravery.
Yeah.
Does the Herald need to be sued for the lowering in productivity with the overhyping of weather? Because no one's on the roads.
Look, I feel... I don't want to compare myself to the veterans of World War I and going off to war and the bravery they showed and the sacrifice. But hey, when I left the house this morning, I was like, I'm a fucking hero here.
Yeah.
Look, it's a little bit windy. It's rain. I'm going to work, motherfuckers.
Are you suggesting that some people under the cover of a slight weather report screaming terror and staying at home, but really just extending their holiday by one day?
What?
You wouldn't suggest that, surely?
I wouldn't suggest that. Look,
no one would be that.
Legitimately, there's so many dangers out there right now. Like, I mean, I got on my Lime scooter this morning. I did a little skid around the corner on a leaf, little leaf that was quite wet on the cobble, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. I just about turned around and went home.
The weather event is so bad. Like, it's a low pressure. It's not a cyclone. It's a low pressure zone, right?
It's some wind and rain.
So I was driving to work and I thought I was in a Quiet Earth situation. You know that movie where everyone disappears and just leaves Bruno Lawrence with his cock out? I felt like that. I was like, where is everyone? And then I wasn't going, where is everyone? This makes sense because there's a cyclone and there's trees blowing around everywhere. No, it was just, where the fuck is everyone?
And then you're right. I think the Herald and other news outlets, they obviously, nothing really happens in New Zealand apart from the old ram raid, apart from a shark attack every now and then, and maybe some traffic. But the weather is a big thing for us.
Yeah,
and we make a big deal of it.
And then there was one time they got it slightly wrong.
Oh no! Now we're
overly. Now it's just absolute full red alert every time.
Stay home,
every time a cloud covers the sun. We recommend that you stay off the roads.
And yesterday they said charge your devices.
God.
It's like an Armageddon. Charge your devices. There's some wind and rain coming.
God forbid you can't doom scroll TikTok for an hour because the power's gone down.
There's the one headline this morning is plastic wrap rips off Central City building.
Okay.
Wasn't there a story yesterday I saw on the front page of the Herald where a tree had fallen over?
It was like a tree that was about 4 years old and it had fallen over and it was sitting on top of a fence and it said tree falls over in Central City. It's like, come on, man. Do news organisations need to be sued? Because we've got the lowest productivity in the OECD. In New Zealand, and I think most of it is people staying at home because of bad weather, or taking holidays under the cover of bad weather because some chicken licking has said stay home. Well, that's why look at Wellington CBD.
This is a calm day for Wellington.
Yeah, well, they had such bad weather, that everyone just stays at home the whole time now. So that's why the CBD's dying. Like, what happened to good old hardy Wellingtonians who used to, walk into a 130-kilometre-hour southerly, because you couldn't use umbrellas. I remember living there. No one used umbrellas because they just went and just disappeared. So you just had to do the jacket up to the face and just lean into the southerly. And it was like a band of brothers. You'd get to work and go, yeah!
My dad invented a wind umbrella.
Did he?
It's like an umbrella.
This is back to Professor Heath inventions. We need a whole other podcast on this. I'm sorry.
He built it. It had like funnels that fired the air out the back.
Oh yeah, at the back. Yeah.
Well, so the air came in through the top of the umbrella and out the back.
So was it?
So it still stopped you. So it couldn't break. So it was like.
So was it shaped like those cyclists, the speed cyclists?
Yeah. It was shaped like that, but it had ducts in the front and ducts out the back. So you'd be like.
Red Bull Racing are going to be looking at hiring Professor Heath to work on the aerodynamics.
The water wouldn't hit you. But it was very uncool to be carrying it around.
I witnessed a wake and bake this morning. That's the state of Auckland today. My flatmate who works in that's actually an impressive point. But again, back to what you were saying about the fact that no one's actually going to work today.
No.
And the people that are working from home are not working either. Just newsflash for those that are listening.
Yeah.
He's in marketing. Just ripped a cone. 8:30 this morning. So, what? I mean, are we all just giving up now, are we?
Yeah, I feel like people never really came back to work after COVID.
No, you're so right, man.
People never really came back.
People haven't worked in 5 years.
They're kind of like zombies.
How do we reset that? How do you reset that? Do you just have to...
You got to start shaming people and just calling them lazy pieces of shit.
Yeah.
I don't care if someone doesn't turn up to work because they're hungover. Or no, actually...
You do your hangover on the clock.
You do your hangover on the clock. but just not like this building here on a Friday.
Tumbleweeds.
Where the is everyone?
Tumbleweeds.
Yeah. It's like, just where's your go-getter spirit?
I know. That's what I came in
and that's ruining work drinks on a Friday afternoon because there's no one there for them.
Yeah, and then they say you have to do it on a Thursday now. And everyone's like, why should we have to move our drinks to a Thursday because you want to have a long weekend?
Yeah.
It's happening on Friday, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And we're going out earlier.
And bring back the goddamn drinks trolley.
Oh.
The drinks trolley.
How good was that? What a great way to socialise a drink trolley. I remember rolling around in a full Lederhausen with the drinks trolley and just like going through departments, just causing chaos, and then just leave again.
And you're just a steam train because you're drinking out of the drinks trolley as you go. You got some bags of chips. It's the closest you'll get to being Santa Claus.
Yeah, and the jingle is similar to the similar sound of Santa Claus because no doubt you got the trolley and you got wine and beers and they're all jangling along.
And then
it is like
some
Santa.
absolute arsehole decided that people couldn't drink beers at their desk or they're working.
And also people who, where's the non-alcoholic options? Like, you can have a fucking Coke. There's Coke here as well.
Plenty of water in the tap.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Okay.
As my mum used to say to me when I asked for a soda.
Well, look how many topics we've given you for ZB today from midday to 4. 0800 80 1080. Are we a nation of pussies? Bring back the drinks trolley. And is it too windy to work?
And drink some water, bitch.
Yep. That'll go down really well. Rightio. Live from the Export Beer Garden studio. This is the agenda for Easter Thursday, 15th of April.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
You taking the triple Le Pen next week?
Yeah, I'm Le Pen hard. Actually, hang on a minute. Here we go. We've just been laying into people for a bit.
Hey, that's a holiday. No.
That's a holiday.
No, look, that's a holiday.
Yeah.
You've taken a holiday. You can take holidays.
You're allowed to take holidays.
You need holidays.
Yeah, you need
holidays.
You can't work all the time.
I think the whole nation is taking 3 days off next week.
Well, 3 for the price of 10.
Yeah, 3
That's
for the price of 10. So everyone's got in on it. And
some good sporting fixtures over the
over the break.
Bit of F1.
Oh. Yeah, got the Saudi F1 happening. Like, I was just saying, like, just 3 very tight Formula 1s in one area. Like, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Saudi, all in a small little space on the
What
Middle
could
East.
be going on there? I just don't understand.
They're massive
How can they afford
fans.
to put those on?
I don't know,
Some of them are quite small countries.
Yeah, huge motorsport fans.
The Saudi Arabia one's very cool, though.
Yeah,
They
certainly threw it together.
Yeah, that's flash, that one.
I made a huge treasonous bet the other day because I asked what bandwagon you're jumping off. You'll be able to answer this: the Warriors or the Liam Lawson bandwagon. And most people are jumping, unfortunately, off the Liam Lawson bandwagon.
Myself included.
I think, but people forget that the McLaren is the New Zealand team.
They are.
Yeah, Bruce McLaren.
Well,
we're Bruce Hart.
The logo's a Kiwi.
Yeah.
If you look at that, everyone thinks, it's a swish. It says, no, look at it. It's a Kiwi.
Bruce.
It is a Kiwi on there.
Bruce died at the age of 32 for us.
God, he was
racing cars.
I cried like a baby watching that doco. Have you seen that doco on him?
Yeah.
I watched it stupidly at 30,000 feet on a long haul flight.
I didn't know until I watched that doco that he died so young.
Neither.
Because McLaren seems so, I don't know, it's a weird thing when you see old footage, you feel that the people are old.
Yeah.
They're
like the oldie kind of racing those Formula 1 cars.
Death traps.
Yeah.
And literally, because he died, in a trial.
Well, he died in a
test drive.
He crashed into an umpire's tower that was supposed to be demolished the day before.
Yeah.
And no one got round to it. Oh, how
so
weird is that?
It's pretty. And McLaren at the moment doing very well.
Kick-ass. You got
Lando Calrissian.
We'll claim Piastri. He's an Aussie.
Piastri, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Lando.
Lando's the best of us as well, I think.
Yeah.
There's something about Lando that I really like.
Yeah, I love Lando.
Him partying in Amsterdam last year after a race and like putting a massive cut in his nose that the scar's still there. It was like a big flap came down and he got back into the plane and went, you've been partying, haven't you? Well.
Do you know, I'd peak excitement for me is if the world worked out that Max Verstappen went to McLaren and Liam Lawson somehow got into McLaren. Imagine how great that would be.
That would be good. It would be good to have a Kiwi driver in McLaren. That would be like
imagine that.
Full circle.
What national anthem do they play when...
Fucking British.
Yeah.
When McLaren wins a Grand Prix,
it's owned by Britain now. It's based in Britain now, but it is. Someone brought that up.
It's a kick in the cock.
May have been Liam Lawson who brought that up. He said they should play the New Zealand national anthem when McLaren win. But they are based in the UK. They're owned by a UK company now. But you can go and see Bruce McLaren's Upland Motors in Remuera.
Yeah.
If you go drive on Upland Road, the left-hand side, I think it's a school uniforms shop now. It used to be a petrol station. If you're driving away from town, on the left-hand side, there's a old white building, Upland Motors. That is where Bruce McLaren grew up with his dad, and that's where he first started McLaren and tinkering around with cars and stuff. And it's got a little plaque there. It's protected by the McLaren Trust.
It's so wicked that happened. But also it's crazy what F1 used to be, which it was run out of garages.
Totally. And that great doco where
you get like, maybe 10 people working on the car.
Yeah, self-trained engineers.
Now, the minimum amount of people in an F1 team would be, 800?
Oh, my God, so many. There's so many people with headphones on, just don't know what the fuck they're doing. But in that doco, that Bruce McLaren doco, the thing that made me just burst into tears at 30,000 feet was when they were interviewing all his mates. And all his mates are kind of in their 60s and 70s now, so they're not super old. They're not like interviewing a World War II veteran. And they were talking about how awesome it was because he basically started the F1 team and then he just brought all his mates over as engineers and mechanics. And they were talking about it and they goes, we're just Kiwi boys. And all of a sudden, we're in Monaco. And they're like, holy shit, man. We partied hard. Like, there were women everywhere. Like, we're from like Rangiora. And it was like, it's the coolest story. And then it's like, we had the greatest like 3 or 4 years of our lives. And then what made burst into tears, they just talk about how it all just ended suddenly on a day in which they were just doing practice with a car.
Yeah.
And it all ended. And they were all crying. I'm in my chair going,
God.
It's you've got to watch. If you haven't watched it, the Bruce McLaren story, then get into it.
No, incredible, absolutely incredible story.
But poor Liam Lawson came 13th, get demoted back to 17th. His radio comms got released yesterday. And he thought that old Lance Stroll had cut across him and he was effing and blinding about he needs to be penalised. And the team was like, yeah, we'll report it to the stewards. So, don't worry about it. Just carry on the race. Can you carry on? He goes, yeah, my steering's a bit fucked, but I'll keep on going. And at the end of the race, the officials, the marshals go, no, it was your fault. You've got a 10-second penalty. He's done the whole race thinking, motherfuckers, cut me off.
Well, you see that. I mean, that's the story of Drive to Survive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Lewis Hamilton screaming at people about being cut off, and then you actually go to the tapes and it's like, no, it was your fault.
It's his fault,
But hard to tell at those kind of speeds.
Yeah, but hopefully, look, I wish I hopefully...
But how does Lance Stroll keep his seat?
Well, his dad.
I know. I'm doing some sarcasm.
I'm sorry.
But how does he... It's just...
Surely
it's just it's such a cutthroat industry and you just get dropped for nearly nothing. It's so hard to hold on to your seat.
He's playing a different sport, Lance Stroll. He's so far down the leadership.
Dad's a businessman, though. Surely his dad looks at him and goes, pulls his son and says, son, I love you, son, but I've got to get a better driver.
Yeah. He's the Jeremy Wells of like Jeremy Wells is this Lance Stroll of broadcasting.
Yeah. Protected.
You're protected by wealth. Yeah. It's interesting.
So that's Saudi. That's on this weekend. Also, Super Rugby is on. We've got live coverage Friday and Saturday night thanks to Max Raft. A couple of derbies. It's Mana versus Landers on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's both your teams are playing this weekend, and Blues versus Crusaders down in Christchurch.
I know. How dirty is it that the Crusaders are at the top of the table?
Oh, fuck, it makes me sick. Don't look at these two smirking.
How did it happen?
I don't know.
It just happened.
They've snuck in like ninjas in the night under the cover of darkness by everyone else just having the most crazy results.
They're waving their hand over here with last season. And then in the meantime...
I bloody hope that someone started I was saying this last season, start the frickin' documentary.
Yeah, very true.
All...
the comeback.
Fly on the wall, warts and all documentary on the comeback. You've got the great press conference with the C-bomb.
Anything with Rob Penny in it.
Yeah.
Like the Easter Island statue.
And if they could turn it around in one season and someone's been actually covering... If no one's been covering that, then our media deserves what's happening to it.
But it's okay because I think isn't Manu and the other Master Chef guy doing a tour of New Zealand in a motorhome? What's it? Manu and the other fucking Irish guy. Anyway.
I thought that was Manu. I thought that was...
oh, no. Manu's the Algerian rent boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd have to move on. We're going to get in trouble here.
Yeah. Delete that.
Okay, yeah, delete that. But hey, here's a song for me to play to you, Matt.
Tune.
So Rieko Ioane, Wanna Go Ioane, we call him. He is signed to go to Leinster.
He's so popular in Ireland.
Leinster is the home patch of Johnny Sexton, his great nemesis from the World Cup. How's that going to play out?
Yeah. Well, how quickly do you turn around fans?
Pretty quickly.
You do pretty quickly, eh? As soon as they're your guy, then you love them. Like, we would love Labuschagne if he played for New Zealand.
Oh, absolutely. We'd probably even might like Steve Smith.
Do you reckon we'd like Davey Warner if he...
No. Not even the Aussies like David Warner.
Yeah, no, that's true. What's the closest to Davey Warner we've got?
It's Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips.
It's Glenn Phillips.
Yeah. Well, we love him.
He's cut from the same cloth.
But we do question him a bit.
Yeah,
His celebrations, sometimes you wish he'd drop the catch so we didn't have to watch the celebration.
Turn to the crowd and 4 limbs.
It's so true. What is wrong with us, eh? We cannot celebrate.
We're pieces of shit.
We can't celebrate because remember we were in India and I think we were with Tim Southey, and Tim Southey was furiously texting away and he was like laughing and we're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm just texting Kane Williamson. He scored 100 in the IPL the other day and I saw him celebrate.
Yeah,
I was like, so you telling him?
You don't think it's a bit over? You don't think it was a bit over the top?
that's what Kane.
And all he did was raise his bat in the air.
Kane Williamson replied back. Do you think it was over the top?
Yeah, that's right.
He just did this.
We're bad people, New Zealanders.
I got the vibe from the Irish that maybe they're not super keen on Sexton either, or there was some kind of self-awareness going on, like us and Phillips, and we understand that maybe there's something slightly off about him.
Yeah, there's a very Englishness to his whinging.
Yeah, I think when that book came out and all that Rieko stuff went down, I did get a vibe from the Irish that maybe they weren't super stoked about it, but they felt like they had to go into bat for him. It's
weird because, bless Rieko, but he's not a superstar.
No.
So it's weird to be having your big feud with,
That's a good point.
He's not really he's not going to be in the history books.
It's not Dan Carter.
No, it's not Dan Carter. It's not
Richie McCaw.
Not Kieran Reid. It's not one of the big names.
If Mitchell Stark had a real thing against Mark Chapman,
that's kind of what it's like. Yeah,
that doesn't why him out of all people.
Okay, mate. Yeah.
He's going to. Old Rieko Ioane. He's going to replicate Geordie Barrett. He's got his 6-month stint in Dublin. So
who's he playing for there? Do we know?
Who's that? Rieko?
Yeah.
Is it Leinster? Leinster.
Okay, Leinster.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Who else have they got? Do they have anyone else from the side of the world? I know that's a question you probably don't know the answer to, nor do I.
Geordie Barrett playing for Munster? Yeah. It's actually a good time. If you're going to go anywhere for a sabbatical, if you want to make heaps of money, obviously Japan is the place to go. And a great place to live, great lifestyle. If you want to play some hardcore footy and have a good time, Ireland's the place to go. I saw their local competition on TV the other day, packed house. Absolutely packed out and like feverish fans. And I was like, oh, fuck, they're selling theirs out. And it was like Munster versus some other kind of Irish team. And I was like, oh, it's going pretty well over there.
Yeah, it's so weird. God, we talk about this all the time, but where's the passion?
I know, it's hard. It's hard.
Because even you Crusaders fans over there, you're back and you're like, there's just...
It's so apathetic.
It's so lethargic.
Yeah.
It's like...
that is a fair assessment.
Ask them when was the last Crusaders game they went to? Ask them.
When was the last Crusaders game you went to, Joe Jury and Mashy?
I know the answer to mine. It was the 22 final when we beat the Blues up here at Eden Park. 22?
Yeah.
Because 2 years ago.
Yeah,
because it's
Joe Jury?
3 maybe.
How many times have you not gone to Crusaders games when you've been in the same town as them playing?
Too many to mention, I think.
Yeah. There's no passion.
It's right. That's an
Why
example.
the Pacifica fans are kind of putting a bit of passion together?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, there's some passion there.
Out in Albany, that's good.
Yeah, they're running a bit of passion.
Fiji and Drua, Jesus Christ. I want to go to one of those games. I want to get together and go over and watch, because they look like a good time.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, it looks a bit wet and
a
bit hot.
But you want to go to one of those ones that is played in a paddling pool.
Yeah, I'm just going to go just in a Speedo.
Yeah.
Just full Speedo. That's it. And just hang out the back of the goal.
But you've never left a resort when you've been in Fiji, have you, before?
I've only been to Fiji once.
Did you leave the resort?
Yeah, I went round and around the Bulla.
It's very different outside the resort.
I went round and around the Bulla bus, used to yelling Bulla with my kids. That was pretty much how you look after kids in dinner hour. You put them on the Bulla bus and you drive around and you yell Bulla to all the security guards who yell Bulla back.
You put them on the extended golf cart and you get driven between your chalet and the pool.
Yeah, correct.
We went to Fiji together, Matty. I barely remember it.
We were very drunk the whole time we were there.
The whole time. Yeah.
We were wearing Speedos, though.
You were.
Oh, was I?
Shit, you look good in those Speedos.
I'm hoping to catch up with Lee Hart today, actually, to just get a debrief from his Fiji holiday. Shit, that looked like a good time.
Yeah,
on cloud 9 there. Jeez,
yeah,
he was behind the bar.
He's had a couple of stonkers in Fiji, isn't he?
It's his Turanga Waiwai.
Yeah,
a resort in Fiji.
Yeah,
it's his place to stand.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. Hey, G9 is back, Matt, at Eden Park, and I hear they're completely renovating that south stand and turning it into a festival of golf with bars and DJs and all sorts.
Wow.
So we're going to be hitting that. I think it kicks off in May, but we're going to head there. We've got a few tickets to give away. Head to accnz.com for that to get onto the G9, Powerade G9 at Eden Park. Now, I was talking before about the treasonous. Sorry, which bandwagon you're getting off, Matt? I've actually gone for the bandwagon multi for the hunch. I've gone for the treasonous multi. I've gone Broncos to beat the Warriors by 13 plus.
Can I separate myself from this, by the way?
And
now that I've seen this written down, I'm disgusted.
And I've gone Isaac Hedger to beat Lawson, who's his Racing Bulls teammate. And that's paying a measly $3.22.
Oh,
so that just shows it's not that treasonous because it's only paying $3.22 for those two things to come off. But it's my bandwagon hunch, a bit of happiness insurance as well. Because I hope both of them win that and I lose this bet. But that's not part of the fun, is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole annoying thing about the Lawson thing, is the Hedjar thing, because it's like, you got to beat him, mate.
Yeah, because he's even younger and even more inexperienced.
Yeah,
I know he's a good driver though, Hedger. He had a shocking start. Remember, he was the one who put the car into the wall on the formation lap of in Melbourne, and he was bawling his eyes out. And Christian Horner called him a pussy. You can't be coming in Formula One and crying when you crash the car. It was rough, man. Fucking rough. Anyway,
so because we were all like, he's got to beat Sonoda. We got that. That's what he's got to beat. And it's like,
we lost sight of what was going on for a long time.
Yeah. He's got to beat Sonoda. He was never gonna.
No.
Sonoda is also a crazy man.
Yeah, he is. They're all pretty crazy.
You have to be freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that? Perez might be coming back.
Is he?
Yeah, the new Cadillac team.
Cadillac.
Yeah, so there's some movements and shaking going along. There's some rumours
because Audi's coming in next year.
But they are replacing
the stake team. What is it?
Yeah, that window. The kicks. Is it that one? The kick stake Sauber.
Yeah, they got like about 1,000 names.
Sergio Perez paused for triumphant F1 return as major sponsorship deal seals comeback. This is just breaking news. Popped up when I was driving in here. It's the kind of breaking news that we need.
This is great.
Close to mega deal. Sergio Perez.
Just checking out we're live. Yeah, we are. We're live. Yeah, we are live. Apparently, that's good.
Dramatic exit from. We all know about that. That's what I hate about articles. So much telling us what we already know.
So much cocktease at the start. Just so much fluff.
They need you to hang around on that page
especially when it's live on it's a podcast. I'm trying to get there. What team it is? I'm pretty sure I saw Cadillac.
So I wonder
sounds slow.
Does sound slow. You're right. When you said that, all I've got on my mind is like a big, long
Cadillac's ambitious F1 entry paves new way. Now the star seems to be aligning for a centennial return. Cadillac, the iconic American marquee, is poised to join the Formula One grid next season.
Wow.
Through its the team's bid for 2020 was initially met with resistance from some quarters of the paddock and governing bodies, the FIA eventually granted the outfit entry. So return.
So are you saying that's going to be a big Cadillac convertible, pink Cadillac with the big wings on the back?
Cadillac DeVue.
Well, that famously it was the Cadillac that dumped all that oil on the home straight of the Las Vegas' first Grand Prix. Remember they did a parade of classic cars around the track in Vegas.
Right, and it just shat
itself on the starting grid, and there were dudes out there with sawdust and like.
Maybe that's why there was so much resistance to.
That just got their license. Like,
your
fucking Cadillac just shat everywhere.
But I love when someone gets a seat back. So I was gutted when they lose a seat because in sport it's one of the ones that's sort of most humiliating. There's so few seats and.
Yeah.
And, he was so great for Red Bull for so long, and then he's out. And, good on our boy, obviously, but it's so gutting so when you hear they're coming back.
They always come back, though, don't they? Some they always kind of disappear, apart from maybe Daniel Ricciardo. I think he might have put a fork in him.
Yeah.
My only issue with Formula One is this whole team-changing name thing is ridiculous to me, because you try and explain Formula 1 to other people and you talk about who used to be on what team and where they were. And the water is so muddy at that point because, that used to be Renault, and then before that it would da-da-da. And he used to, fuck, it kills me. Can we just pick names?
Yeah, the big teams are good, though. They got Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes.
They keep it easy.
Yeah, but they've
Alpine.
Alpine. What's that? Renault. That used to be Renault.
Used to be Renault. But I think isn't
Williams?
Alpine is still Renault, but Alpine is Renault's sports cars.
Yes, and then you got.
But it is freaking confusing.
And Williams, which has got a lot of big legacy, but that just been
they're OG, aren't they?
Yeah, one of the OGs.
I'll take it back then. Shit point.
Yep.
Move on.
What about are you a big Haas fan?
I'm a massive Haas guy.
I'm a huge Haas guy as well, to be honest. And I just love, I used to love Gunther's phone calls with the owner.
Gene.
Fuck Gene. It's fucking, I don't know.
We look like fucking wankers. We look like fucking wankers.
And eventually, Gene goes, "You're a fucking wanker. You're fired."
No one has ever been so worried about being a wanker in real life.
I loved they were the highlight.
It was so good.
Of watching those Drive Survive as Gunther Steiner's phone calls with Gene. Gene, it's happened again. They fucking crashed.
Fucking funk.
Both cars have hit the wall on the first turn. Again. They've hit each other. Fuck. Fucking wankers.
Oh, righto.
That was a school project, Haas, for a while there.
It was a school project. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to have to biff you out, Matt, because we've got David Higgins from Duco Events. He's coming in for a big announcement. I want to grill him about the Black Clash as well, because I've got a few questions around that, because they're responsible.
Can you ask him why the crowd can't keep the ball?
Yeah, well...
Because we've got a campaign, because Dylan Cleaver humiliated me publicly about suggesting
we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Keep the ball.
Keep the goddamn
What does it matter?
ball.
It's to keep the ball. If people could keep the ball... I know how much does a ball cost, probably,
And
bulk, $100.
Particularly in Black Clash, because it doesn't really matter, because the bowlers aren't that good.
And also... Sixers don't often go into the crowd.
Yeah, that's
because they've brought the ring in.
Yeah, that's true. There's a high risk they're running out of balls as well. That's that same fact.
Yeah, but just keep the ball. That's the whole...
baseball
is the... Part of the reason why baseball crowds turn up is to keep the ball.
Yeah, it's to catch the ball.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a
Catch the ball, keep the ball.
quick break. We'll be back with an interview with David Higgins. And also, the podcast will be... a little bit infrequent over the next week or so, as everyone lapons, but there'll be a few out next week. So, save up your pent-up talkback calls to abuse us.
Did you have a controversial podcast last week? I saw one episode was way up the charts.
Oh.
Was it just my regular?
I think it was your one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was your one where you kind of like, fucking... Well, what we'll do is we'll cut that bit where you say, just have some water, bitch.
Yeah.
I think with that one.
Yeah. Don't put that on social media. No. See, I'd get away. It's like I'd get away with being on this podcast with my new ZB career if it wasn't for that meddling social media.
Right, now it's an absolute pleasure to welcome a special guest to the Agenda podcast, David Higgins. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so this is we call this podcast a sports adjacent podcast. We talk sports sometimes. Most of the time, it's what I think Murray Decker described it as nonsense and claptrap.
It sounds entertaining.
Yeah. But for people who don't know, there's a lot of people out there. We get credit for the Black Clash. People go, man, you guys, that Black Clash is awesome. I can't believe you managed to pull that off. But it's you and it's Duco that have pulled off the Black Clash into its 8th edition next year. How awesome's that gone?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And frankly, you should get some credit for Black Clash. You've been an amazing partner that's helped put it on the map. Hot Spring Spa Pool. There's a great collaboration, and it was so unlikely. I was lying in bed 8-9 years ago, sleeping in on a Sunday after a bender. I get a call from Stephen Fleming. Goes, mate, I just came back from South Africa, and I saw this awesome concept. They had Protea's current former player Springboks, and we should do this in New Zealand and raise some money for a good cause. Yeah. And I've always liked cricket, and I thought, why not give it a go? And I have to be honest, when we first did the rounds talking to media broadcast, people sort of scoffed a bit, and they thought it'd be a bit silly or unlikely, or would it work? Yeah. And, we had a hunch it could be a top-rating, iconic event, and a couple of the broadcasters asked why, and we said, you've got current and former superstars. Some of these retired players are bigger names, bigger brand equity than current players. Yes. Superstars doing something different out of their comfort zone. It's not like codes where there's a game every 30 weeks of a year. So it's got scarcity, and it's going to be entertaining, and you mix that up, and it's going to rate.
Yeah.
And TVNZ, to their credit, backed it enough in year one, and it was a bit of a coup to put it on prime time after the news.
You cut the news short.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, that's next level, because you think of the audience.
Yeah,
the biggest audience.
It took courage for them to do that, and in year one, it did 1 million cumulative viewers.
Yeah.
I think it's been number one sports event in New Zealand for most of those 7 years, and it did a bigger viewership than Rugby and Cricket World Cup final because we're on free to air.
Yeah.
And so it's become iconic. It's become like one of those Kiwiana sort of traditions now, and you guys have been wonderful part of it and a wonderful commentary team.
Yeah, thanks. But I mean, it is how difficult. We'll get around to why you're here in a little bit, but I'm keen to ask you about the Blacklash, because initially, I think when you mentioned people scoffed at you at the start, I think that's because most people have tried to deal with the rugby union and the cricket, New Zealand cricket, and have not got far in terms of something new, and particularly something potentially with New Zealand cricket not under their control. How did you get around that? How difficult was that?
Well, I think obviously former players are within their rights to do what they wish to some extent, and obviously the timing of it is between a certain window where even some, say, current All Blacks might be free.
Yeah.
But we don't want to step on toes and piss anyone off. Our approach is, to be honest, whether putting anything together like the NRL Auckland Nines or Blacklash, it's difficult. Yeah. I actually make a list of people that could say no or kill it on a whiteboard, and then I think, how am I going to get them in the tent?
Yeah, right.
And so in terms of the NZRU and New Zealand cricket at the time, technically, legally, they probably couldn't have stopped it, but we didn't take that. We thought, we'll, as a courtesy, before it goes public, we'll go to them and fully explain it and ask for their blessing, and we did. And Martin Sneddon and I went down to Wellington and had a meeting with Steve Chu and went through it all, and we took the same approach with David White at the time at New Zealand Cricket, and both said, hey, we appreciate you coming to see us. We don't see it as a threat. It might grow some interest to other it's codes, and you have our blessing. Yeah. And so it was kind of bring everyone into the tent was the approach.
That's a good approach, because I can imagine that now it's become so big as well that they're almost like, holy shit, what are we doing wrong? Because every year it sells out. Well, every year it sells out, and you look at the cricket, not every Black Caps game sells out.
True. Well, they're not necessarily doing anything wrong. Yeah. I mean, we're scarce. There's only one a year.
True.
And when the All Blacks only played a few tests a year in South Africa, it's all to do with quantity, demand, and supply. And the NFL is the most valuable franchises in the world, and I think they've only got less than 20 rounds. Yeah. So sometimes less is more, and sometimes by making it the product scarce, you actually drive your TV rights value up.
Yeah.
And then when you flood, and it's all an equilibrium that I'm sure they're well aware of. And I don't underestimate the challenge of having a weekly code and that much content and trying to sell out every game and make it interesting.
What I think the beauty also is, and I think this is where almost cricket have missed a trick a little bit, and I think where the rugby union played a great PR card in the fact that they allowed current All Blacks to play. So when Will Jordan played, I think one of the first years, Will Jordan played, Geordie Barrett played, Bodie Barrett played. You had current. It actually made them more accessible to a bigger audience seeing these current All Blacks play, and I think their equity went up. Whereas New Zealand cricket limited it. They don't let any contracted players play it, so you have to go for the retired players, which is fine because they've got their own equity. But I think in terms of the public perception and the PR battle, I think the rugby union almost a step ahead.
Yeah, I mean, but that, we treat every year as a new year. That might change.
Yeah, hopefully.
And so we're always going to reach out and try and put on the best lineup we can. Yeah. And the wildcard thing's getting exciting. Wasn't Chris Gale amazing this year?
My God, Chris Gale, he nearly ended me at the party the night before when he told all the crowd to get your titties out, get your titties out. So I took my top off and he went, not your titties.
I was sitting next to Chris Gale at Ponsonby Hotel, next to two English cricket-loving geezers who were travelling in their 30s. And it was the funniest thing. And Chris Gale was next to me, and I had a 10-minute argument with the English geezers that this was Chris Gale sitting next to me, and they were adamant that it wasn't.
That's quite good. Yeah, 'cause it's almost become part of the Black Clash, because I always get hit up like, who's playing this year, throwing suggestions at me like, oh, we should definitely get Andrew Flintoff. We should get we should. We should. He'd be great. Yeah. But it's just such a shame that poor Shane Warne departed this world, because I feel like this event was built for Shane Warne.
He loved it.
Yeah.
Stephen and I had a meeting with him in Melbourne at his house.
Yeah.
And he was going to champion something in Australia, and he loved the concept, and it's tragic.
Such a shame, because like every time you think of it, it's like, fuck, he would nail it.
Yeah, what a legend.
He would absolutely nail it. Anyway, we're not here to talk. We are here a little bit to talk about that, because I was keen to pick your brain about that. But it's hopefully it's back again next year. It's confirmed next year.
100%.
I'm not sure where it is. We kind of North Island, South Island, but
it's still up. Yeah, it's going to probably be North Island, but we're not going to announce where just yet.
Excellent, and we'll have the party zone again. It's one of the great days out.
Oh, it's back to the good old days when you could have fun.
It's like it's like the cricket is an excuse to have a party.
No, that's what it's good old fashioned fun.
It is. It's great. Anyway, you are here to talk about something else. Now, not only are you responsible for the Black Clash, you're responsible for New Zealand's biggest one-day festival in Symphony. And if you haven't been to Symphony, it's world class. I've been to concerts around the world. It is absolutely world class. Takes over the entire domain. But you've got something else on the cards now as well, for the more rock-based, metal-based fans. Now, what's that? What are you announcing?
Well, look, thank you for the compliment, Symphony. And Symphony's a breathtaking collision of classical orchestra music with electronic dance music.
Yeah,
nightclub culture meets classical orchestra. Yeah, and it's going global. And thank you to Manuka Fuel and our sponsor. Yeah. It's become the biggest one-day festival in New Zealand, and we're probably end up doing 50 events around the world.
Yeah.
Now, I'm an old school rock and roll and metal fan. Yeah. I at a rocker, and people have been saying to me, you should do a rock metal version of Symphony, and I've sort of always wanted to. And it's been on the agenda, and we thought, damn it, let's give it a crack. And so we've created a new brand called Full Metal Orchestra, and the idea is inspired by the Stanley Kubrick movie Full Metal Jacket. Yeah. And so Full Metal Orchestra, we've trademarked the name like we did with Symphony. Yep. We've got a website, fullmetalorchestra.com, that goes live today. Yep. And our plan is to establish it like Symphony and become a global thing. I mean, how many people out there love acts like, Metallica, AC/DC, Ozzy Osbourne, Soundgarden, Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses, the list goes on, right? Those acts, some are still touring, but they're tailing off. And so we're going to, just like Symphony, we're going to cover those acts with the best session band in New Zealand that we borrowed from Come Together. So we collaborated with the Broses Come Together, who do that series around the country, doing like Neil Young Live Rust and the Rolling Stones. And they've got Joel Mulholland as managing director guitarist. He's one of the best in the country. People might not have heard of some of these names, but these are some of the best musicians in New Zealand history. You've got Brett Adams as lead guitar. Matthias Jordan from Pluto is keyboards. Mike Hall from Pluto is bass.
I know Michael. He's one of the greats.
And Alistair Deverick on drums. And that's the session rock band. But then with a full 29-piece orchestra. So and then guest vocalists. And there's going to be some big and exciting guest vocalists.
When are you going to announce those? Can I take a guess and you can say no comment?
Yeah.
Surely John Toogood's in the mix.
I was dreaming of John Toogood last night, and so that's
not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
We'll see. So anyway, Full Metal Orchestra is going to cover nostalgia, metal, EDM, hard rock, and some more current stuff. Just like Symphony, but with a massive production. Now, here's the good thing. Symphony started at the Auckland Town Hall.
Yes.
This is going to start at Spark Arena on Saturday, July 26th at Spark Arena. And it'll have a big production. So think screens and lights and
Well, anyone who's seen Symphony, it's next level.
Yeah, and so we're really excited by this, and we think that it's got a global market, and the worldwide debut will be in Auckland at Spark Arena on 26th July.
But at the moment, you need to get to fullmetalorchestra.com and sign up for pre-sale today, You can sign up and grab, so you can get the first sniff at the tickets.
Yes.
which will sell out pretty quick because they're on sale, general sale on the 1st of May, I believe.
That is correct.
Yep.
Right now, you can go to fullmetalorchestra.com
Yep.
and sign up for pre-sale to get the first dibs on tickets.
And this is just an analogy I've got. My wife went to the first ever Rhythm and Vines, and she still talks about it. So to be the first is it's just something you can skite about, because in 15 years' time, people are going to go, I went to Full Metal Orchestra in Vegas, and I was like, you know what? I went to the first one.
You were so right.
Yeah.
And so many symphony tragics come up. You get the ones that go, I've been to 8 symphony, but then you get the one that go, well, I went to the first one.
Yes, totally. It's a bragging rights. I mean, that's what my wife says to all the youngsters. They're like, I'm off to and she goes, I went to the first. That was the first and only one. So, and a chance to see history here. Full Metal Orchestra. Go and register pre-sale because the tickets are on sale 1st of May. You'll get the first bite of the cherry if you jump on there and register. Shit, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to rock out with my cock out hard.
100%.
Hard in the front
So
row.
you're saying your cock's hard or you're going to go hard?
Both. You heard about headbanging? This is a different type of headbanging. Right, stick around, David, because I want to ask you, because every guest who comes into the agenda, we ask 22 and 2, which is a quick fire, 2-minute questions. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with 22 and 2 with David Higgins.
Thank you.
Rightio. Okay, this is quick fire. It's yes, no, quick fire. We move on. There's no judgment, okay? David Higgins, this is your 22 and 2. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Sex or drugs?
Drugs.
Hard or fast?
Fast.
Would you rather wake up nude next to Joseph Parker or David Nika?
Joseph Parker.
Thai or Indian?
Thai.
Eat out or dine in?
Eat out.
Freddie Mercury or Elton John?
Freddie Mercury.
Wet or dry?
Wet.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift?
Neither.
Ali Williams, Stephen Fleming and Daniel Vittori. Who do you think has got the biggest downstairs?
Oh, shit. Flem.
What sporting legend would you bring back from the dead? If you could just bring anyone back from the dead.
I did statistics, Donald Bradman, just because there's no other person like it.
And so if the ceremony to bring back the Don resulted in you talking like Mike Tyson for the rest of your life, would you still do it?
No.
Okay. Have you ever fired a gun?
Yes.
Have you ever killed anything bigger than an insect?
Yes.
Who's the most famous person you've met? Do you think that people would go, whoa?
Oh. Heaps. Bill Clinton.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big. If you had a reoccurring dream that a snowman killed himself with a hairdryer, would you be concerned?
Yes.
If you were offered a knighthood, would you accept it?
Not probably.
What age do you think people say they've had a fall instead of falling over? Oh, I've had a fall, dear. What age do you think that starts?
When they're in decline.
So
we say
70s?
65, 70.
Okay. Have you ever screamed, Google me, motherfucker?
No.
Okay. You'd be surprised how many people have. If you were going to get a statue made of David Higgins, what would this pose of that statue be, and where would you put it? Now, I'll give you an example. Tim Southey said he would be naked on a stallion and it would be rearing up, and he'd put it on the front lawn of Daniel Vittori's house.
Oh, shit. I'd probably just have a private one at home.
Yeah, just a bust.
So no one can mess with it.
So just a bust of yourself. A bit like Sir Richard Hadley. He's got a bust of himself actually in his foyer of his house.
Did you model your mo on Richard Hadley?
I do actually. It's hard to get rid of it. It's hard to get rid of my mo. That's your 22 and 2, okay. David Higgins. Thanks very much for coming in. Get on to fullmetalorchestra.com. Pre-register now. It's going to be a fucking great time. And look forward to heading along to Spark Arena. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.